Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Gabby and welcome to my strange little YouTube channel. As you can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about some popular feuds of old Hollywood. Since the show Feud was released a couple years ago that surrounds around the feud between Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, people have been asking me to do this video, and I figured it was about time. Today's video is also appropriately sponsored by Best Fiends. Well, hello there. I am popping in from the 1920s to tell you a little bit about the game Best Fiends. Best Fiends is a free puzzle adventure game where you collect cute fiends and match same colored objects to defeat slugs. It's completely easy to remember because it's like best friends but without the R. Also, if you don't have Wi-Fi, that is no problem at all because you can play the game without Wi-Fi. While you're lounging around wishing you were in some different decade or different dimension, you could be doing something more productive, like playing Best Fiends. This month, you can play the Winter Challenge to win massive prizes, including even a new character. Download the game for free using my link below and get $5 worth of gold and diamonds for free. Wait, I'm from the 1920s. What's an app? So definitely go click that link down below. I promise you guys will not regret it. And now let's get into some of old Hollywood's best fiends. The first one I'm going to be talking about is definitely one of the most popular from the golden age of Hollywood because it was between two sisters. These sisters brought sibling rivalry to the next level. Olivia de Havilland and Joan Fontaine were both very successful actresses during their time, both having an Oscar under their belts. It was no secret how driven they were when it came to their careers. Another thing that wasn't a secret was their dislike for one another, which began at a pretty young age. Both of them acted in school plays when they were younger, and this is kind of where their rivalry started. At the age of 15, Joan decided to move in with her father, who lived in Japan. Things didn't go too well, and she decided to go back to the United States to live with her mother and sister again. And when she got to San Francisco, her older sister's career was taking off, which only deepened this feud. Joan told columnist Hedda Hopper in 1949, "You see, in our family, Olivia was always the breadwinner, and I, the no talent, no future little sister, was not good for much more than paying her share of the rent." Most of the 1940s was spent with them competing against each other for roles, Oscars, and even men, Joan ending up marrying one of Olivia's ex-boyfriends, which didn't really help much. In 1942, Joan won an Oscar for her role in Suspicion, and when Olivia won her Oscar years later for To Each His Own, she refused to shake Joan's hand on stage. The estrangement between the two only increased in 1975 when their mother passed away, Joan claiming that Olivia never even invited her to the funeral, and Olivia claimed Joan was too busy to be bothered to attend the funeral. The two sisters, who were the only two sisters in Hollywood to both win an Academy Award, never settled their differences. Joan passed away on December 15th, 2013, and Olivia is still alive today at 101. Joan once said, "My sister was born a lion, and I a tiger, and in the laws of the jungle, they were never friends."
I always thought really that was all publicity, the feuding sisters. That wasn't true. That couldn't...
Well, we are naturally, my mother also. Our family are all eccentric, I have to admit. My father was like eccentric. My mother was a very definite and positive person. And my sister and I are very definite, positive people. So you put that together, then you are bound to have differences of opinion. You just have to. We are not passive people in any way.
The next little feud is between one of the biggest leading ladies and biggest leading men of the screen at the time. Laurence Olivier was one of Britain's finest actors on film or on stage. He definitely knew how to capture the attention of anyone watching. This was quite easy for him. Something that may not have been easy was dealing with his behavior backstage. Sir Alec Guinness described Laurence as unpleasant, possibly even vindictive. Laurence was quite critical of many actors and actresses he had to work with through the years. Laurence had hatred for many co-stars through the years, but he said his hatred for Marilyn Monroe was one of the strongest emotions he had ever felt. The two worked on the film The Prince and the Showgirl, released in 1957, and this was where his demise for her began. It's known that Marilyn Monroe was shy and she dealt with a lot of anxiety, which caused her to be late to set quite a lot, and she sometimes forgot her lines, and Laurence had absolutely no sympathy for this. He claimed he hated her method acting and couldn't stand her acting coach always being present on set. Cinematographer Jack Cardiff, who worked on the film, claimed Laurence would set out daily to ridicule and humiliate the young actress, refusing to acknowledge her status in Hollywood at the time. When the final cut of the movie was released, Laurence said he was actually flabbergasted by how wonderful she was on the screen. Marilyn obviously moved on in life, but it is said that she never really forgave him for how he treated her on set.
Good. Well, now, you will forgive me if I don't join you for the minute. I have already had dinner and have 1 or 2 matters of business to attend to.
The next one is a little bit surprising, and it was very surprising to me because I always thought that these two had such great chemistry. I Love Lucy aired in 1951 and was a huge hit across America. Other than Lucy and Ricky, 2 other main characters in the popular show were Ethel and Fred, Lucy and Ricky's best friends and landlords. The 2 characters were portrayed by Vivian Vance and William Frawley. Vivian was 39 when she was casted for the role, and William was 64. Vivian still considered herself youthful and didn't understand why they wanted her to be married on the show to somebody who was old enough to be her father. She told many people, "How will anyone believe I'm married to that old man?" William found out about these remarks and was obviously offended. Their distaste for each other only got stronger from there on. Vivian claimed that she hated doing scenes with him where they had to be super close, and anytime she had to kiss him in a scene, she would kiss the air next to his face, which is easy to tell from many episodes. It is said Vivian tried her hardest to remain professional on set, and William, on the other hand, would often rip up papers from his script and refuse to memorize lines if there were too many. When I Love Lucy fans found out about this little feud, many were heartbroken, while many said that it only enriched their performances. When there were scenes when Fred and Ethel had to tease each other or bicker, it was quite believable, and now I guess we know why. Frank Sinatra had his fair share of rocky relationships with co-stars through the years, but one that's less talked about is his with Marlon Brando. Both were big names in Hollywood during their time, so it's no wonder a little feud came about. In 1954, before Frank really knew about Marlon, he had voiced his approval of Marlon winning his Oscar for his movie On the Waterfront. Frank yearned for the role of Terry Malloy in the popular film, and when Marlon Brando got it, he was very displeased, saying that Marlon was mumbled and the world's most overrated actor. The following year, both Frank and Marlon were casted in the movie Guys and Dolls, and Frank said he was very unhappy with this, especially since Marlon got the lead in the film. Marlon didn't have a ton of experience when it came to singing or dancing, so before filming, he asked Frank for a little bit of help. Frank declined and said that he didn't go for that method crap. Many people on set said that the cast was completely divided. Everyone picked a side and filming was very difficult. Frank liked getting most scenes done in one take, so Marlon liked to push Frank's buttons and insisted multiple takes for each scene. During the end of filming, Marlon was actually attacked by some men, and he blamed it on Frank's mafia connections. It was never proven if these men were connected to Frank or not, but nonetheless, Marlon was completely shaken up, and he never talked about Frank Sinatra in interviews ever again.
One of these days in your travels, a guy is going to show you a brand new deck of cards on which the seal is not yet broken. Then this guy is going to offer to bet you that he can make the Jack of Spades jump out of this brand new deck of cards and squirt cider in your ear. But son, you do not accept this bet, because as sure as you stand there, you're going to wind up with an ear full of cider.
The last two are people that you really can't bring up one without bringing up the other. One of old Hollywood's most popular duos, Fred and Ginger. Or as Ginger would want me to say it, Ginger and Fred. Through the 1930s, the dynamic dancing duo took over Hollywood. Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire still to this day have your full attention when their feet start moving on screen. Their chemistry in movies was undeniable, and people loved them together so much that they ended up doing 10 films together. It's hard to picture these two with any sort of tension, but there was actually quite a lot. According to Ginger's autobiography released in 1991, she claims it all started back in 1935 during the filming of their film Top Hat. Ginger said she really wanted a blue dress for the film, the blue like you would find in a Monet painting, and when the costume designer came back with a white one, she was completely confused. The costume designer Bernard Newman said he had to change the dress to white because of Fred's request. Ginger was frustrated and threatened to walk off stage. The director caved and let her have her blue dress. Other than being blue, it also had a ton of feathers, and while dancing, the feathers would fly off of Ginger and attach themselves to Fred. Fred was annoyed to no end. Ginger said that this incident was completely blown out of proportion, but they finally got over it and ended up joking about it. The two never purposely brought up their differences in interviews, but little hints of it would emerge at times, especially when Ginger would say that her contributions to films she was in with Fred were often overlooked and most of the focus was put on her male co-star. When biographer Michael Friedland interviewed them years later, Fred told him, "Oh, Ginger, she always wanted to be the boss." And when he asked Ginger about the Astaire-Rogers duo, she responded with, "You mean Rogers-Astaire?" After 10 films together, they called it quits and never really admitted to this little feud that they had going on all those years. Now, when Fred was asked about this little feud, he said, "To say we hated each other was nonsense." But when asked if he liked Ginger, he said, "We worked together. That's all."
You say either, and I say either. You say neither, and I say neither. Either, neither, neither. Let's call the whole thing off.
So I hope that you guys enjoyed that video, and of course, like I said before, I mean no harm by this video. It's a lot of he said, she said. This is all stuff that is just buried in the past, but we all like a little bit of drama, just admit it. Also, like I said before, this video is sponsored by Best Fiends, so thank you Best Fiends for sponsoring my video. This is honestly a game that I love myself and I've been playing for quite a while, so definitely go check it out and click the link below. I love you guys so much. Leave any more recommendations for video ideas down below in the comments. I read every single comment, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.